Okay, so I had someone ask me to do a demonstration of how to navigate the site where I get a lot of our supplies for our organization and our school. Now, we are an organization, so a nonprofit organization. We have a school kind of under that organization, but we are not an accredited school, so I do not do the teacher program. We actually are under the organization program. The teacher program is free. The organization program, I believe there is a fee for that, and you can check out the information there. But you do have to be a nonprofit organization to be able to do the join the organization piece. And then a teacher, you have to prove your credentials. You have to give them a bunch of different information for them to be able to check out. I believe you have to have your teacher ID, a teacher email. They contact the school to verify that you are a teacher within that program or within that school district. So there's a lot of different things that you have to go through. But once you're able to register, once you're able to be approved, then actually shopping is pretty easy. So you open up a web browser, you go to nair, naeir.org, just like this. This will be the page that you will come up on. And then you go to Shop Nair. Now this is after you've been approved and you have all of your information. If you have not, you can go to the membership applications here, or you can do the Join Teacher or Join Organization sites up here. So because we have logins and all that stuff, we're going to go into Shop Nair, and it's going to bring up all of the different things that you can shop through. What I like to do first is go ahead and sign in, because that's going to give me all the information that's applicable to me. So I'm going to click sign in, and then I'm going to log into our information, our account. And so there's a couple of different ways to kind of search on Nair. There is these specific tabs over here. Those exact same tabs are here at the bottom. If you're looking for something specific, you can type that in here. Now, one thing to think about and to remember when you're shopping Nair. Nair is based on donations that have been given to them from organizations and companies all across the United States, and possibly even across the world, but I know for sure in the United States. And so it's a hit or miss. It's kind of like a Goodwill or a secondhand type store, in that you don't always know what is going to be available. And once that is no longer available, then they don't restock that. It's not like a stock type thing. It's whatever donations they have in the warehouse. And the price that you're going to pay is basically a handling fee. It's to help pay for the people who are pulling these products off of the shelves in the warehouse and packaging them up and shipping them out to you. So it is a really amazing way for those of us who are teachers or who work with nonprofit organizations to get some of this stuff into the hands of the people and the children that we work with and that we serve at a very, very, very low cost to us. So I suggest that you look through everything. As a teacher and as someone who focuses mainly on office type supplies and like school resource type stuff, I usually look under the educational supplies, but I definitely do go under every single one of these options that are available to me. And then if I know that I'm looking for something very specific, then I will use the search feature. Now, the search feature is something that you're going to have to play around with, because sometimes you can search by a product name. Sometimes you can do a very generic search, and sometimes you can search by like a company, for example. So it kind of just depends. Sometimes it's listed and it's very specific on what you're searching for, what it pulls up. So if you search for pencils, but it's listed as pencil, it's not going to show up. under that search. So you may have to adjust some of your search terms to find something that you're looking for. But usually what I found is they have a lot of basic supplies, and then sometimes you find some really amazing things, in there. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of look at a couple of different things. And so under clearance here, right now at the time that I'm looking at this, which is December the 16th, about 5 o'clock in the evening Pacific time, you can see that there's different types of sandpaper. Now, as a teacher, sandpaper might not immediately that might not grab your attention, but there's so many different tactile things that you can use sandpaper with. So even using sandpaper and adding a tactile piece to a project or a material in your classroom can add so much to, especially those fine motor skill activities that your younger kids are going to be doing. So it looks like there's a bunch of different kinds of sanding sheets and sandpaper and things like that. So you can notice that like this right here is listed as sandpaper. So if you were to search sandpaper, then this is going to show up. But this, because this is listed as sanding sheets, is not necessarily going to show up if you're searching for sandpaper. One thing to note here, you can see that this is $4.50 for 9 sheets per carton. So if we were to look at this, and I usually open these up in a new tab because it's easier for me to go back and forth, you can see that this is $4.50. There's approximately 131 of them available. If you were to buy this in the store, it'd be about $15. So you're saving about 70% by purchasing it here. And then so it's 9 sheets per carton, and it looks like in each carton or each little package here, there's 3 sheets with 120 grit, 240 grit, and 400 grit sandpaper, and this is the size that each of those sheets are going to be. So it's really important for you to look at the descriptions because they're pretty accurate, and you can get a better idea of how much of something you're going to be receiving in each package. So it looks like you're probably going to get, it says 9 sheets per carton, so I'm assuming there's 3 of each of these. Like each of these maybe has, it's 3 sheets in each one of these. So again, this is a little bit unclear if this is $4.50 per one of these or kind of what the configuration is of what they're going to send, because a lot of times things are sent in bulk type packaging. So it's not just here's one thing that you would buy off the shelf, but it's like here's a package that they have divided up and kind of put together. So sometimes it can be a little tricky to figure out what these things are. Now we're seeing, so those are all a bunch of like sanding things. Now we're seeing some note cards. So this says 30 cards per carton, so $1.25 for 30 cards, which is really good because these are pretty expensive. Spritz is an item that I usually see at Target in their stationery section, and those are pretty expensive. I mean, you can see here it's listed at $3.50, but that is actually what it used to be. So this is like an item that has been marked down on there. So it used to be $3.50 and now it's $1.25, which means that if you were to buy this pack in store at Target, for example, it would be $12. And so they've marked it down almost 90%. And it looks like in this picture, now the picture is not always 100% accurate, so don't only go by picture, also go by the description down at the bottom. But this one looks like it's probably pretty accurate. This says it's got 10 cards in this pack, which means you're going to get 3 of these packs for $1.25, which is actually a really good deal. So I often look for the ones that have the prices marked through. because that means that it's been on here for a little while, and it's being marked down even further to get it out of the warehouse to make room for new items. So you can see there's different note cards, there's thank you cards, a variety of different things. And I suggest that you go through every single page, especially like the first couple of times that you look, because there's a variety of things that are here, and new items are listed kind of first, and older items kind of are tucked down, as they add new things. They're further down. So I would suggest that you kind of look at everything. This right here would be really great. This is a juvenile birthday greeting card. So it would be like birthday cards for kids, which is really cool. So it's 96 cards for $15.75. Like, that's a pretty awesome deal. Pay attention to the availability number, pay attention to, the handling fee, pay attention to how many different things are in each set. And then, so there's a lot of different things that you can find. So I would suggest that you just look at everything and, kind of go through. So I'm going to go back over to the side here and go to new at Nair. These are some newer items. Again, it's a kind of a mix of a bunch of different things. So sometimes you will find things that you're looking for, and sometimes you find things that are very unexpected and you didn't know that you wanted or needed. Or you think outside of the box and like, how can I use this in my classroom or with my students or with the people that I'm working with or working for, serving in communities and things like that. It's often, you kind of have to look outside the box sometimes, but they're really, really amazing finds and some really cool ideas of things that you can do with these things in the classroom. So that's kind of what I do. Like I said, I would go through and look at everything and kind of pick and choose. You can see like these are different chalks, which is awesome, like pastels. You've got bags. Kind of scrolling down through here, there's some flashlights, which is cool. You can use these kinds of flashlights for things like blacklight reading, or a special like where you black out everything in the classroom, and you read by flashlight, which is super fun. There's all kinds of crazy stuff that you can do. One thing to note, I believe with the express things, these are things that are usually, you have to like have a warehouse because they're going to deliver it on like a warehouse shipment, like a freight shipment thing. So, if you have access to that, this is a bathtub, right? So, which is super crazy. It's a just jacuzzi style bathtub. So there's incredible things that you can find there, but this does require freight shipping. So you have to have like a warehouse with a freight shipping thing there. So most of the time, this kind of stuff you're not going to necessarily want, because like, for example, even though this is plates and dinnerware, this is per skid, which means that it's like a pallet. And so it again is going to be delivered, needs to be delivered to a warehouse with a freight type receiving area there. So I don't ever buy anything from Express. And there's also some things I think that you can't buy. I don't know. It doesn't look like they still have it on here, because there used to be a different area where it was like you couldn't purchase from there, like only certain people who pay certain like an extra fee every year get access to something, like a specific catalog or whatever. I'm not seeing that right now anymore, because these are all the ones that we normally have. And again, like I said, Express, maybe it used to be right here and it was like a different thing. But anyways, here's under educational supplies. You can see that there's dry erase markers, there's ballpoint pens, there's gel pens, There's all kinds of different things. There's Sharpies. There are mechanical pencils. There's graduation things, parties and awards and things like this. Once you find something that you like, for example, this is all bulletin board stuff, which is awesome, calendars and things like that. So let's say that I want to get these flare pens, for example. It's really easy just to add something to your cart. So you just change the quantity here to what you want, and then you just add to cart. So it's super simple. It's going to show up under your cart here. And then you do have to have a minimum order of $25 in order to purchase. And then shipping is going to be based on what your total price is. And I believe it starts at $10. I could be wrong. It might be $5. But it goes up in increments of $5 as your cost gets more expensive. So I'm going to go back, and this is typically why I open it in a different tab, just because it makes it a little bit easier for me to kind of switch back and forth for where I was. But let's say I also wanted to grab this, and I maybe want to grab these Papermate pens. Let's see, I was on page 2. Let's see if I wanted to buy, let's see what else is here. Lots of glue, which is good. Glue pens. Okay. I'm actually looking for washable glue sticks, which is good. So I'm going to grab those or open those. They have paint brushes. Like I said, it's just a ton of different types of things. This is really cool. Now you can see this is 120 titles for $14. So I'm going to check that out and see what that is. So this is project titles. Okay, so these are basically self-adhesive and repositionable, which means that they're stickers. There's 12 of each, and they're 10 different titles. So it looks like it's basically like title labels for projects, for science projects. So I often, if I don't know what this is, I will look at the title here. It's an Elmer's product, and it's Projects Poppers. So I will go to Google, and then I will search for Elmer's Project Poppers, and I'll look at that and kind of see, looking at images and just kind of see what that is. And it looks like this was one of the images on the piece, and so it's probably something like these little things right here that show like the little titles for each of the sections. That's most likely what this is probably going to be. That's what I'm guessing. This right here has, they're like 4-inch ones, and it looks like they're just letters that you can use to put on there, but it's not exactly the same as what that was showing, like the product that was showing, which it might not be a product that they have anymore, and that's why they gave it to Nair to give away. But that might be something, you know, to look at. That's kind of cool information. So I'm going to go add a couple of these to my stack. I'm going to get 2 of those. I'm going to go, let's say, one of those, and then let's get one of those. And then let's see if my cart has enough. Let's see. Okay, so I have enough in my cart right now. So I can go ahead and do checkout. So once you hit checkout, don't do anything. Let it wait and load that page, because it's going to give you some information. So it's going to have you give the address and everything. You're going to choose the address. Now, right now, because of everything that's happening, they're not delivering to schools. And so they're going to ask you to give a temporary alternate shipping address, which is this right here. So you're going to have your person's name here and their email address and their extension and everything there for you to contact them directly to give an updated delivery address. For us, our address, we're an organization, so ours is not going to change. So we're going to choose our shipping address. And then you also then have the option. So most people in the teacher section would use the credit card. We usually do a bill us for hours because we are an organization, and so they will cut a check out of that ministry's department when we get the information or when we get the invoice. And so I usually do bill us, but you can do credit card. If you do credit card, then you're going to enter your credit card information in there. And then you just click next. You choose your payment method. You're going to choose next. I'm not sure if Bill Us is an option for the teachers program. You may have to automatically pay for it right then to get your items. I know for us, because we pay a fee as an organization, they will ship the things to us, and then we get the invoice, and then we pay the invoice. So again, I'm not sure. So the processing fee right here, this is like what I was talking about with the shipping. The processing fee itself goes up in increments of $5, the more expensive your items are. So here you get to just double check that this is what you want. This is what you, how the quantities and everything, that your price here is done. And then you click the I agree. And so this also, again, just the materials usage requirements are that Nair merchandise may not be sold, bartered, or exchanged at flea markets, thrift stores, auctions, raffles, charity events, fundraising events, or in any other context whatsoever. That merchandise may not be given or taken by volunteers, officers, clergy, or employees for personal use, and it must be used solely for the care of the ill, needy, or minors pursuant to the members' charitable purposes. So what this means is like I personally could not buy something and use it personally for my own self. Everything that I purchase has to be used in our classroom with our community, with our people that we are ministering to. And so we, as an organization, we serve the poor. And so all of the things that we get either are used in the classroom with my students, or we're giving them to people in our community to help them out. So once you do this, you're going to use the confirm button. I'm not actually finished yet, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. But you'll get another page that will come up with your invoice, a number with your information, everything on there, and you can print that from there, and then the company will ship it to you. Some things are taking a couple of weeks. I know when I first started using it, sometimes the shipping and processing and shipping time was about a month out. And I know that they are located, I believe, in Illinois. They're located in Illinois, and I receive things in California. And so sometimes the distance will be a factor in how long it gets to you. I know that they had hired before this year, 2020, they had hired a lot more people to work in the warehouse, so turnover times were a lot faster. I know that there was some times where I would order large amounts of things and I would get it within a week. And so I'm not sure. I haven't actually ordered anything this past year, just because we haven't needed anything. And so I don't know right now what their turnover time is. But if you have any other questions, if you, don't have all the information, or you're confused about anything else, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to kind of help you navigate this amazing, wonderful resource, especially if you're a teacher or you work with a nonprofit organization that helps the poor, the needy, the ill, works with minors in the United States. These are great ways that you can keep your personal, or not your personal, but your organization's costs down and still help people in the community. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, and I will talk to you guys all later.